The lighting is crap, but when your parents are asleep, you shoot videos wherever you can. Dear Molly, give me 30 seconds. Dear viewer, hey, it's me, your fave. This video, in case you didn't see the title, is a coming out video. Now, you all, if you're regular watchers, know these things about me. But Molly, whose name has probably been changed to protect her privacy, doesn't. She's a school buddy. Dear Molly, none of them know what school that is, or even what state we live in. So, dear viewer, feel free to watch, but don't expect new information. Thus endeth the disclaimer. Dear Molly, so by now you should definitely know this is a coming out video. If you don't, surprise! But what am I coming out of? If you guessed the metaphorical closet, well, you're not wrong. Before we go any further, don't share this on Facebook or at school. I'm trusting you a lot here. Clearly, I trust you. After all our conversations, ranting about teachers complaining about adults, discussing politics, and what you shared today, I've decided you're a safe person. Please don't prove me wrong. Also, yes, I rewrote this, or I wrote it. So you're probably dying for some terms. I'll list them off and then explain them. So, queer, trans, non-binary, pansexual, agender, panromantic. 6 terms. What do they mean? How do they manifest in my life? Who gets to use them? Keep watching. Let's start with queer, or the Q slur. Queer is a loaded term. It's been used to demean, harass, and oppress LGBT people. It's a verbal representation of the violence constantly committed against us. It's been used against me, online, by strangers, and by my parents. When it comes from those outside the community, it's terrifying. But it's also something else. It's a slur, sure, but it's a reclaimed slur. So people who are LGBT can use it. I use it. To me, it symbolizes our resilience and the struggles we have, and will, overcome. Queer represents a bond forged in hardship. Before I use identities that defy the community, I use this one, which unites us. Out of all the terms I'm going to list, queer is the only one I don't really want you to use for me, ever. There's just such a power imbalance that comes with it, and while I know you mean well, it's a loaded term for anybody who hasn't lived it to use. Up next is trans, followed by non-binary. Now, I don't actually use trans when I'm just talking about myself. I'll just tell people I'm non-binary. But calling myself trans gives me the ability to participate in all sorts of important conversations online. It gives me greater representation. It's a term I'll use out of convenience, not because it resonates exactly. But non-binary folks get access to it, and so it's on this list. What's much more interesting is non-binary, which means that my gender, if present, is not 100% male or 100% female 100% of the time. I remember during a fire drill we were talking about pronouns, and I asked if you were non-binary. You said no, then asked me if I was. I didn't say no, but I led you to believe I wasn't. So that's a lie of omission. I'm not sorry that I did so, but I'm sorry that the world is so crazy that I felt I had to. At any rate, this explains why I react so intensely whenever teachers try to split us up by gender. It's why I hesitate to respond when I'm called a lady or a girl. These are all foreign to me. I rarely go to the bathroom at school, and if I do, it's usually because someone wants me to come with them. And it's because obviously we must have a boy bathroom and a girl bathroom, because everyone knows we'd spend all our time hooking up in the bathrooms instead of, peeing. Which harms the cis, hetero, and trans gay couples, along with non-binary folks, but ends up helping the binary, trans, hetero, and cis gay couples who want to hook up. Speaking of couples, it's time for sexuality term. You get pansexual. I'm not sure how extensive your knowledge is, so let me just define it real quick. Pan comes from the Latin for all. Sexual is, well, sexual. It's who I'm sexually attracted to. So pansexual seems to be attracted to all. And that's true if you mean all genders. It's not true if you mean all people. That's omnisexual, and while I'm here for them, that sounds exhausting. A lot of people call pansexual the politically correct bisexual, and while that's where its origin comes from, that's not really its primary use anymore. If you ask 10 pan people what bisexual means, and 10 bi people what pansexual means, you're gonna get like 50 answers. I interpret pan for myself as signifying that I'm not attracted to genders as much as I'm attracted to people. So, now we're swinging back to gender, or a lack thereof. Why? Because the specifics of my non-binariness aren't as important as the fact that I am non-binary, and the specifics aren't as important as my sexuality. At least, these are arranged in order of importance in the community. I'd rather be known online as non-binary and pansexual than non-binary, specifically agender, with people assuming I'm somehow still straight. So, I'm agender. What on earth is that? It means I just don't have a gender. It's just not there. I don't know what feeling female is like, or what feeling male is like, or what feeling a distinct gender that is neither female nor male but is there is like. And I don't know what feeling a mix of any of these is like. It's like my second kidney. It just doesn't exist. Unlike missing a kidney, though, or being chronically ill, this is not a defect. It's just a thing, like how blue eyes are lacking pigment. Then there's panromantic, which hardly qualifies. The only reason this is on there is because there are 3 different types of attraction: aesthetic, romantic, and sexual. Aesthetic is, wow, that person looks absolutely beautiful. Romantic is, wow, I would love to do couple-y things with that person and go on dates. Sexual is, wow, I would like to produce children with you, only without actually producing children with you, because I never want children. Plenty of people have different romantic and sexual orientations, and I think it's important to the conversation to point out that mine are the same. Finally, though, there's one identity left. I know, I listed 6. But 7 is the biblical number of completion, and this is the last one because it is the most important. My most important identity is, and will always be in Christ. These other identities pale in comparison to being a child of God. They're not unimportant, but they're infinitely less important. A few parting thoughts. Number 1, a lot of people have conversations of transitioning. As an agender kid, there's no set end goal. I don't actually want to change much of anything. Do I feel dysphoria? Absolutely. But it's 99% social. Okay. There's one thing I can't deal with. Periods. The following rationale cannot absolve the agony of such a heavily gendered thing. My body is just as agender as my mind and soul are. My hair is agender. My fingers are agender. My boobs are agender. Why? They're mine, and I'm agender. My hair sometimes is problematic. It sometimes is a source of dysphoria. But not because having long hair gives me dysphoria. It's because others inherently assign long hair a gender. So that's why I don't try to look more androgynous, though I'm definitely going to shave my head in college. Like, first day. Thing number 2. You're a great friend, and so you're probably wondering about pronouns and names. On this channel, I go by Azaria, and I use they, them, their pronouns. Eventually, that's a thing I want in my life. But in the circles we traverse, school mostly, you should use the name and pronouns you used for me today. I never imagined I could come out to anybody. I lived the I'd never tell. No, I'd never say a word. That's not the melody, but whatever. Line from She. And I certainly can't come out to anybody else. Imagine the field day the administration would have. So I want you to continue in every context with anybody who is connected to the school to present me as cis and straight. I'm not. And one day they'll all know. But that's not now, and it's not soon. Thing number 3. This is why I will never be as vocal about gay or trans rights at school as you are. If I get too invested in a conversation, I'm likely to blow my cover. When people make jokes or debate my rights or even proclaim that murder is better than apathy, something I heard at lunch 2 years ago that still haunts me as I see those people every day. I will sit in silence and die inside, but I will know I'm not alone. Thing number 4. I'm so glad I could tell you. So that's that. This is what I've wanted to talk to you about for a while, but there's no good place at school to do so. There are people everywhere. I thought about just messaging you, but I still wanted to talk to you, so here's this, a video, because you, me, and 24 other people know I make videos. Was this one informative? Hit the like button. Was it inflammatory? Comment. Was it intriguing? Subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter or Tumblr, both linked in the description, using either the messaging system or the hashtag AskAzaria to get your question answered in our next Just Asking Monday on the 28th. Bonus thought. Remind me not to write YouTube video scripts in theology when I'm sitting next to classmates who want to know what I'm writing about. I hope you have a great day.